Hello, I'm Randall Aragon. I'm here doing the interview for the Sierra County Veterans Legacy Project. I'm a retired Lieutenant Colonel from the South Carolina Army National Guard. I served in combat in Vietnam, and I'm really honored to be doing this. And
Yes.
of course, today we have as our guest interviewee, welcoming Rick Miller. He's a veteran of the United States Army. I know him as Pastor Rick Miller. He was president of the Sierra County Ministerial Association. So Rick, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of this. Tell us about where you were born and how you came to move or live in Sierra County.
Well, I was born in Fitzsimmons Army Hospital, which means that I was an Army brat, and I'm a preacher's kid, so that's 2 strikes against me. My dad was a chaplain, and I was raised pretty much all over the United States. Graduated from high school in Tacoma, Washington, and a job was offered me down here, and I liked the idea of it, and I came down to see what it was like, and I decided I'd stay, and I've been here for 26 years now.
Wow, great, great. And we talked earlier about your job in junior high. You were paper boy like I was.
Yes, I sure was.
And I have a special place in my heart for paper boys.
It was fun.
Yeah, I did it in New York for 4 years. You did it for several years, and you learn a lot at a very young age. So, okay, you joined the Army, and tell us what made you join the Army. How did you come to do that?
Well, I had been interested in the Army for years because of my dad's experiences, and I thought maybe I would join and make it a career if I could, because why not? It's a good way to make a living, and you get to travel everywhere.
Right. And you said your dad was a chaplain in the Army.
Yes.
And he was he a career soldier or a career chaplain?
He was medically retired
Okay.
right around the time I was born, but he kept telling me his stories about being in World War II,
Right.
and, his travels and so forth.
So it got you interested in becoming a soldier.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right. I remember this, and I know you will too. Tell us how you felt and how you were preparing yourself for basic training.
I'm sorry. I don't know one can really prepare yourself for basic training. I remember getting off the bus and having a few people discuss what I was going to be doing. I got to be polite here. Discuss what I was going to be doing for the next week or two, and then going into basic training after that, and being part of the Army, going through the training. Basic training was an unusual experience for me because I was posted at Fort Ord.
Right.
During that time, they had a meningitis scare.
Okay.
So they could not run me anywhere. They had to bus me back and forth to physical therapy where they ran me, and stuff like that. It was a totally unique experience. That's the only thing I could say. It prepares you for the military.
And you were 17 like I was.
Yes.
And so, I didn't leave, I don't think I ever left home but for a few days to visit family somewhere. But this is the first time you left for any length of time. How did it feel?
Scary.
Yeah, it was.
It really was, because again, there were people all around yelling at you, people that were in the same platoon with me, and from all over the United States. It was a totally interesting experience.
And as young as you were, I know how you must feel, because I felt the same way. I was like scared, frightened.
Oh yeah.
Very frightened. And you said you went to Fort Ord? Was that?
Fort Ord for basic training and advanced infantry training.
Okay.
And I went to drill sergeant school there eventually.
Give us a unique experience in basic training that you will never forget.
Wow.
That you constantly think of, because I know I have several, but
I think one of them was, forgive me, but I've heard rifles fire, but I never fired one.
Okay.
And the first time I shot one, that was quite an interesting experience. I'm a left-handed person, and most weapons are built for right-handed people, especially machine guns.
That's right.
And it was kind of fun I never fired the machine gun until I got into advanced infantry school.
Right.
And it was kind of fun trying to shoot and hit a target right-handed when you never could.
Right.
Other experiences were, I'll tell you the coolest one. I had a drill sergeant who was part of the 3rd Infantry Division. And for those people who don't know what that is, that's the guys that are walking the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown.
Right.
And he would be able to throw it right. He would tell me to throw my rifle at him. He'd, instead of catching it, he'd spin it and do all sorts of fun stuff with it. I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Now, what weapon did you use in basic training? Same one I used.
You're
probably.
making me old.
Yeah, I know. It's the same one I used.
I qualified with an M14.
Okay, well
not an M16.
Okay, well I had the M1.
Uh-oh.
Grand. I didn't see the 14 till
Yeah.
the latter part. But M14 is the rifle you use in basic training.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this now. When you completed basic, you went to AIT, which is advanced infantry training, right?
Yes.
That was Benning, I guess.
No, I was back at Fort Ord.
Oh, they did. You did it there.
Yeah, they gave me a 2-week leave, told me to come back, and that's where I did AIT, which one humorous story if I could share. I just told you through basic I didn't run anywhere. The first night I showed up, first day, the company commander called for a special company formation, said the XO is going to take over now, and he said right turn. 5 miles later he stopped the run. And I'm going,
5 miles, huh?
uh-huh.
That was basically AIT.
AIT.
Okay. And that was 8 weeks or 10, 12?
8 weeks.
Okay. Getting you ready to be a real soldier, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I want to put a caveat on that when we get to Vietnam.
Okay. After AIT, where did you go?
I went to Vietnam.
Okay, right. Where? Where?
I was in I got to Vietnam in December of '65, and I spent the whole year there until December of '66.
Okay. What part of Vietnam were you in?
I was basically in the Central Highlands with the 1st Cavalry Division.
Okay. I got there in '68, 3 years later, and Vietnam started about '61, so
Yes.
it was pretty getting pretty serious at the time you were there. So,
Yes.
Okay. Combat. Tell us about some of the combat, at least one combat mission that you could recall that really got you.
Wow. You'll have to forgive me because talking about my experiences is very difficult for me.
I bet.
Okay. There is one time when we were pinned down by a sniper, and he had shot a couple of people, and nobody saw the sniper except the ammo bearer. I was the assistant gunner at that time.
Mm-hmm.
The ammo bearer said, "I see him," and so I looked over and said I'm sorry, this is how I remember his name. Charlie Brown was the gunner.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him to fire a burst. That's 4 ball, 1 tracer, downrange.
Right.
He fired it, and the ammo bearer told him how to correct it to get to the sniper. And the next round, not the next burst, the next round, the sniper came falling out of the tree. And Charlie never saw him.
Okay.
He killed him right off.
He killed the sniper.
He killed the sniper, yes.
Now, what was he in a tree? You said.
The sniper was in a tree, yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I'm sure you had a lot more combat experiences, but
Yes,
that's
I have.
when. Tell us about some of your team members that you could recall, or maybe a story.
I need you to understand that when I was a kid, I never learned how to fight or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I only learned how to fight when I joined the Army. And the basic training in AIT, you learn how to fight, but I didn't learn well enough. When I got to Vietnam, Charlie Brown taught me how to fight and how to stay alive. I told you the machine gun was a right-handed weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I could only fire left-handed. If I had missed one more time with my right hand shooting, I would never have graduated from AIT. Charlie Brown taught me how to shoot left-handed, a machine gun, and I learned how to do it very well. I never learned, please forgive the next part of this, I never learned how to fight, but I learned how to kill.
Yeah.
And I can't fight today, but
Right.
I will kill you.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry to be that
Well,
crude.
that was your training, though, really. Okay.
He and me and the assistant gunner, we were quite a team together. Then I became the gunner. It was a totally different experience.
Rick, how long were you in the Army total?
Total of 3.5 years. I was in because I have a medical retirement from the military, and it took me an extra half year to get the retirement. I need to tell people this because, and I tell to them whoever I go to that's in the military, I tell them that they won't tell you this, but it was a law passed in the late 60s, military law, that if you are an E3 or an E4, I'm not sure which of the two, but I think it's an E3, plus you have at least a 10%, maybe a 20% disability, given by the military, not the VA, given by the military, you can be medically retired. What that means is you get all the benefits of somebody that spent 20 years in the military.
He's talking about like medical treatment.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what happened to me. I have a medical retirement because I had enough disability.
Right. From the military.
From the military.
Okay. It's interesting.
Right now I'm 100% by the VA,
Okay.
but I also have a 20% disability from the military.
That's important to know. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. Okay, you got out of the Army after 3.5 years, you said.
Yes.
How was it like adjusting to civilian life, especially since you came back from combat?
Okay. This is an interesting situation because I'm married now to a very beautiful woman. I love her dearly. My first wife, I swore that she was in Vietnam for 47 years because she would have to help me through my PTSD. It was a very difficult adjustment getting out of the military, trying to be a civilian in doing that thing after being
Right.
through all my experiences. And now, honestly, my PTSD has gotten more difficult through the years. I don't call it PTSD.
Well, we called it something else back then, Rick. We didn't call it PT. We didn't even know that word existed, right?
That's right. I call it combat fatigue.
Yeah.
Because, I know people today have PTSD that's never been in combat, but it's not the same thing.
No.
That's why I go back to combat fatigue.
Yeah. When I got back, I had bad dreams, and I heard loud noises, and I was ready to duck for cover and so forth.
Yes.
Okay.
Part of it.
Lasting memory of your military experience. What was the best lasting memory that you had of you being in the military?
Well, I told you before the film. Do I still tell it to you?
Yeah.
You got to remember, when I graduated from high school, I went to an inner city school, and I was not a member of the gangs or anything like that, but there were gangs everywhere in my school, and I was very interestingly beat up and all that good stuff, okay? And when I came back from Vietnam, I told you I was a drill sergeant. I went to drill sergeant school, and they told me when I went to Fort Ord, you're going to go to drill sergeant school, and I said, no, I'm not. And they said, you're going to drill sergeant school. No, I'm not. 3 times they said it, and the 3rd time I said, okay, I'm going to drill sergeant school. When I graduated from drill sergeant school, my first cycle that I was in, there was one of the bullies that used to pick on me.
Yes, the story.
So he would want to pass. And I said, okay, you have to pass a foot and wall locker inspection from me.
Right.
And he wouldn't pass it. So I made him dig a 6 by 6 by 6 hole, bury his foot and wall locker in it.
His foot and wall locker?
And wall locker. Dig it up. Shake it up to clean off all the dirt, open it up and see if he could pass, which of course he couldn't do.
So that's payback, wasn't it?
Oh, and I made him bury it again, and he wouldn't pass to get it. And long story shortened down a little bit, he was the last one out of the gas chamber. No, the second last. I was the last one out. And I said, now look, trainee, do you think I'm ever going to have any problem for you again? No, drill sergeant. I got even.
Yeah, you certainly did. Okay, Rick, look, everybody, the military was good to me. I had some, rough times, and I was scared in combat and so forth. But I was trained for it like you were. What's the most lasting impression that the military did for you in a positive note?
Extremely positive. I know my dad was a minister, but I was not called to the ministry when I first got out. Okay, and I got out, and I've told you I have PTSD, combat fatigue.
Right.
And positive thing is that now I can use that, because I can say to people, I know the problems that you're going through. I can understand, I can accept it, and I can work with you about it. And I've been able to help a lot of people because of my experiences in combat, experiences in the military and everything. I can say to you, I understand the worst, and I understand the best.
Right.
And I want you to understand that Jesus loves you, and I go from there.
Right. Very, very deep. I could say with me, overall, the regimentation and the loyalty and the patriotism from the military.
Yes.
When I salute a flag, when I do a pledge to the flag, I salute it after the Pledge of Allegiance, and because I think of that more than just being a piece of cloth.
Absolutely,
think of all those that have lost their lives over the last several hundred years. So with that. So, is there anything else you'd like our community to know about veterans and what they should think of veterans?
We do have problems as veterans. Adjusting. Even at my age, adjusting. There are times that it's very difficult for me to to even want to go out into society. And that's true with a lot of guys that have never had the experiences that I have. A lot of guys that have never, and gals, that have not been through the problems. But we want to be contributing to society.
Right.
If I didn't know, then the Lord wouldn't have called me into ministry. And I think that's true with a lot of people I've met as veterans. They do a lot of good for our society. And I really want to applaud them.
Yes.
I really do. I want to thank them. And I want to thank people that support veterans in however they can do it.
Right.
It's very good.
Well, thank you, Rick. Well, that's really it, Rick, and I want to thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you for your service and your combat service, and we'll be seeing you around. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
God bless you, Rick.